Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We are on a roll. We are going to dive deep very quickly. You guys are sending in the best questions. Info at ladiestalkshow.com. Keep them coming. Okay, Gila, what you got for me?
Okay, so Batya's asking, I've been working so hard on being a receiver and thanking my husband more, but he just dismisses my appreciation and it kind of hurts. What am I doing wrong?
Oh, okay. So by the way, we have this whole thing. Like if you're as you're expressing your appreciation for your husband, all bracha comes from Shemayim through your husband and to you. Okay, go look at some of the other classes. You'll learn this very, very deeply. Or you can read Marriage Secrets. This is my book on 220 Torah sources. I make no money by pushing this book because all of it gets donated for Shalom Bayis education. But anyway, it talks a lot about how if your husband is giving and you're appreciating it and thanking him and so forth, more blessing comes in. And what this poor sweetheart, what's her name?
It was Batya.
Batya. Okay, yeah, Batya. Okay, so the issue is that what Batya's dealing with is she's doing that. She's appreciating him and showing him appreciation, and he's rejecting it, and it's hurting her feelings. Totally, totally normal. This is very common. So what you got to do, Batya, is you've got to actually sell him on the idea. So I don't know what he said to you, like he says, stop doing it, or I don't like it when you do it, or whatever. But you got to sell him on the idea, and you need to say something like, have a conversation with him again. He's well rested, well fed, and it's not in the heat of the moment, right? This is this is a quiet time. This is Shabbos afternoon, or it's Sunday morning, or after the kids have gone to bed. Something you're in a car driving somewhere. Some time where it's just a peaceful time between the two of you. There's always a million things going on. I don't expect that it's like, oh, what's new, dear? It's like, oh, we got to do this. Oh, yeah, we have to talk about summer camp. And I get it. But you find a time and you block out that time and you say something on the order of, I'm not quite sure what to do because I was learning about our Shalom Bayis Basura, and it talked a lot about how all bracha comes from the Shemayim through the husband into the wife. And that, the more appreciation a wife shows, the more bracha her husband gets and the more bracha he gives to her. So it's just like that's how the flow of blessing comes from Shemayim into our home. And that's what I learned, and that's what I was taught and whatever. So when I say it to you, I'd like to work out a way and figure out a way how I could say it to you in a way that wouldn't annoy you. Or, you might have had a conversation with him and he told you exactly what bothers him about it, but, or makes you think I'm just saying it to be nice. It's my job to appreciate you and to show my appreciation through my lips, and through things I do for you. So what can we do that lets you know that I'm receiving the blessing that you're bringing from Shemayim without it annoying you? And take the problem. And for those of you on audio, I'm just putting my hands in a bowl and handing it to my husband and putting the problem in his lap and let him solve it. And he might come say, it bothers me. It makes me feel like you're a phony baloney, or you're just saying it because you want to get something from me. I have no idea what he's going to say. I'm just making up what he could possibly, say. And I hear that, but what do you want me to do? Well, if you were just to say thank you, that would do it for me. Now your problem solved. And now that's what you do. Or if he says, well, now that I know that it's really genuine and that you're trying your hardest just to make me feel good and to get more bracha into our home for me and for you and for the kids and the family, I see it differently. So, okay, if you want to try it, or, just don't do it 10 times a day. One appreciation comment is more than enough. That will suffice. You don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to say. But if you present it in a way that you are bringing him on board and trying to get him on side with you and trying to get him motivated and enthusiastic about this way of bringing more blessing into the home, if he doesn't understand that, then, and he's rejecting it, that's understandable. But if he understands it, it could shift the whole thing. So good luck with it. Please let me know. info@ladiestalkshow.com. Follow up with me and let me know how it goes. Good luck with it. Okay. What you got for me, Gila?
Hey, Shane D's asking, my husband is a night owl and I'm collapsing by the evening. It doesn't work for me to take a nap because I have trouble falling asleep at the best of times. I want to give him what he needs, but I end up feeling like a failure.
he's a night owl and she goes to bed earlier than him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm following the problem. She feels like she's not being there for him.
Yeah, because she goes to bed earlier and he's up late at night.
Many couples do that. She wants to go to bed with him and wake up with him. She wants to be there
Guess
for him.
by the
Maybe
time
that's
he
what
gets home, there's very little time until she goes to sleep.
I see. That's so sad. Huh. I would bring this up with him and say, what can we do about this? I want to be with you more. You're a night owl. I mean, I can't quite see a logistics solution. If she's a morning person and maybe they could have breakfast together before the kids wake up. How's that for an idea? Well, but he has to go daven. Yeah, no, so the kids will for sure be up. I'm trying to figure out logistics. Sometimes logistics are very complicated, especially because I can't, there's no give and take. It's like I'm just answering, standing on one foot without being able to ask you these questions. But typically, if I was working with you, I'd find out what the logistics of your life looked like so that I could give more spot on solutions. But you yourself know what the logistics look like. So maybe you can creatively think of a way to, you know, I mean, I guess that's why you're asking me because you can't think of one. Hello. Okay, wake up to the problem. So I guess, um, you know, I don't remember which Gödel said it to me, but somebody told me that if a husband and wife spend 15 minutes together a day, that makes them feel like they're living life together rather than just two ships. So I wonder if, maybe now your routine is your husband walks in the door, he eats dinner and checks his emails and, I don't know, whatever his life looks like and and maybe yours is you start falling, he gets home, let's say he's very workaholic or has to, or whatever, he owns his own business, he comes home at 8:30, the kids are already at bed and you have to fall asleep by 9. I'm making up this thing because again, I would ask you these questions, so maybe it's trying to figure out a 15-minute, no cell phone, and no kid interruptions, no whatever, just a chunk of time, whether that's when your husband gets home or right before you go to bed, you do everything ready to go to bed and you go into bed and he comes in for 15 minutes and he goes back out, he comes in and schmoozes with you and you have a clock. And 15 and keep to the clock because if you say, oh, with just 15 minutes, he'll come in. He's in the middle of 14 things. He's got 8 windows open on his computer. He's writing a note. He's got a text and he's making an email to somebody and blah, blah, blah. And now he goes into you and he's stuck in there for 45 minutes. He comes back and so stick to the 15 minutes and, maybe that's a good first step to try and figure it out. Have a conversation with him, ask him how he could solve this. Again, put the problem in his lap, and see if he can come up with solutions. Between the two of you, get creative for it. It's not insurmountable, but again, if you think of it like in 15-minute chunks, it's like, that a husband could probably compromise on. If he said, oh, we need an hour every day I want you at dinner, I want you help with bath time, I want, whatever, good luck with that. But if you say, I just need you for 15 minutes one-on-one time, or if you want it with the family, I would one-on-one is ideal if it's at all possible. Depends on how many kids and what their ages are, and your exhaustion level. But that's what I would try first. So give that a go and let us know how it goes. All right, very good, Gila.
Okay, great. So Tsaria is asking, we are making a family simcha and I would like to hire an event planner to help me with my vision and make my life easier. My husband is low maintenance and thinks it's way too extravagant. I know it's not a financial issue, rather more of a hashkafic issue. For example, are we raising the bar in the community? Is the help and ease worth it? Etc. We can't seem to find an even ground.
Very interesting. Be nice if there was like a middle ground that you could find, like instead of hiring an event planner who costs X amount of dollars and is making and raising the bar for the community, but rather if there was somebody who you could hire a part-time assistant who could run out and pick the plates and or something like that, paper plates or you have to be careful if what's politically correct. Is that like, oh my gosh, what I'm ruining the earth? I don't know whether I'm sorry if I'm being politically incorrect or whatever, but I'm also like our koyach, our strength and our ability to whatever is also important. So I think if you can think of something that would be a middle ground, look into your options for that. It could just be that one of your babysitters that you've had for a bunch of years, or a new babysitter, or your babysitter's friend or sister, and just say, "Can you help out?" And then, maybe she goes, either does errands for you or comes with you on the errands. There's some things like, let's say you want to make all the napkins folded on the table, and sitting there for an hour, have her do it. So it could be that, you could say to your husband, I'm giving Parnassa to the little girl, to whatever. So you have to think about what might be a good compromise. That's probably the way I would go, because he does have a point about raising the bar in the community. If it's that you have a lot of kids and a lot, your life is just crazy, and it's gonna make you short with the kids. It's going to make you short with your husband. It's going to make you not pleasant to be around. Then you can just say, I need it. It's a mental health thing, so that's also fine. Okay, great questions. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Sarit is asking, my husband insists that I get a job, but I simply can't handle it. We have a we have had a lot of calm communication about it, but he won't let it go and I simply can't do it. I'm dealing with too many other things with the kids.
Hmm. I wonder how those conversations went. So I'm going to assume, Sarit, that you have,
Sorry, she did say calm communication, so
yeah.
if you didn't hear that. Okay.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I heard that, but I'm saying what the content was it?
Right, right.
What if
Okay.
was the content, that's a beautiful bracelet. Wow, really pretty. Show it on screen. Okay, anyway, okay. So the yeah, talk about getting distracted. The conversation that she has with him, is the conversation a like, she's saying, I don't want to work, and she said it calmly, or was the conversation, you know I don't know what to do. I see that the kids have, so many challenges, and I myself, I think any money I bringing in we're gonna go out and babysitters and stress, and our whole life is gonna be ratcheted up, and I'm just not sure what to do. I want to follow your will, because I feel like there's a certain amount of blessing that comes from that. By the way, telling that to your husband, right? Makes him feel proud, like, oh, she wants to follow my will, so you can, I'm not sure how you said it and what you said to him, but it could be that altering how you say it to him and how you express it to him and how you, share your feelings and vulnerability about it with him could make a difference. But let's say you did all that and he still just keeps harping on it. My next thing is to have a conversation about why. If it's because he wants more money in the house, or is it because he feels that you'll be happier or the kids will be happier? I mean, I assume that he just would like more money in it. You can tell him that what would be equally effective or maybe more effective is if you spend, 5 minutes every day davening, that you have more pradasa, and taking it to heart, or something like that. Or maybe you say, maybe there's an in-between compromise where you can do something from home and say, okay, listen, there's medical billing and I'm going to learn that, or whatever. I know you want me to go out of the house, and I know you want me to work 20 hours a week. How about I work 10 hours a week and I do it from home, or something? Maybe there's some kind of compromise. But I would find out what his deep drive behind wanting you to get to work is, and have him have Rahmanis, how do you say Rahmanis?
See, mercy.
Mercy, yeah. Have mercy on, to have mercy on you, to that it's very hard, and you're trying to raise a family, and you just don't feel capable of doing it. And what makes you think you're glad he thinks so well of you. And But I would be very, upfront. I hope that I'm very proud of you for the fact that you said you've been communicating very nicely with it. You communicated very nicely, but I would also, not just, I would go into, finding out why, and finding out, um, if there's compromises. Okay, they're very, very good, Shyla. And my one answer, standing on one foot, may not help you, but hopefully it'll steer you in a direction of compromise and trying to work things through. That's where you want to head. Great question. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Mary's asking, my husband has a block with one of our kids and treats him differently to our other kids. He is snappier and sharper and gets easily disappointed in him. He admits to it, but won't go to therapy for it. I feel so bad for my son.
Hmm. I'd want to know why. I mean, if he admits to it, that means he has some understanding that something is different. I mean, it sounds to me like just armchair psychologist. I'm not a psychologist at all. But it sounds to me like it's a kid who probably is very similar to himself, to him, the two of his son feels like very much like himself, so he has higher expectations from him. Often when these kinds of things happen, there's a drive to perfection, which is driving it. But you know, I'm no expert on this particular family dynamic. I couldn't possibly be standing on one foot, you know, without more information. And even then, I'm not an expert. So my thinking is on that. My thinking is that a conversation with her husband about what he thinks potential solutions are, to brainstorm solutions and have that conversation with him, and then just let it go. You know, your son will survive uh, not such great behavior from his father. He won't, your kid won't survive so well, lack of closeness in your marriage. So it's much more important to work on the connection and closeness with your husband and supporting him fully and being there for him fully than it is for him to be a good father. And how do we know this? Simcha Wasserman said, or Elchanan Wasserman said that 90, I think it's 95%, I don't know, 90% of child rearing is shalom bayis. So if you work on, you know, just take care of your husband, do what you can to alter the situation a little bit. Don't make yourself nag, and don't make him crazy by you forcing him in, you know, a round peg in a square hole. Say your little bit like a good navigator. Let him run the ship, let him steer the ship, let him be the captain of the ship, and you put your little 2 cents in, give some brainstorming, and step back out of it completely. Good questions, ladies. Okay, do you have time for, I've lost track of where we are.
Yeah, we have time
Okay,
for another question.
okay,
Tahila's
fine.
asking, my husband is on a mission for me to make new friends. I have my few close friends and I'm happy like that. But my friend believes that if I have more friends, I'll be happier. Is it okay to refuse his advice to go to social gatherings when I really just don't derive joy from them?
How interesting.
Yeah.
I would have a conversation with him and find out what's driving his big push. I don't quite follow exactly what his, you know, what his drive is to have her have more friends. I mean, if he thinks she's unhappy and he thinks that will solve it, and the truth is he could be right. I don't know. That's a toughie. I would find out more information from him. I think that's what's missing now, is like there's a big puzzle to me of why he is intent on having you finding more friends. If it's true that he sees that when you're with your friends, you are happier and he thinks more is better, you know, that may or may not be true. And you might be absolutely positive that it's not true. But the fact that your husband said it means that you need to. It's your job to take it seriously and try. So I would tell him that, okay, I see you have a goal for me to make more friends. Going to these social events, it doesn't necessarily make me happy, but I will go to one a month, just on your say so. And I will try very hard to make one additional friend this year, you know. And there's a difference also between friends and acquaintances. So you know, if you have your friends, it's a little hard, you know, you're going to elbow this one out for that one and, you know, whatever. So I could totally hear that you're not wanting to, but he might just want you to have more acquaintances, more, you know, guests for Shabbos or something. I don't know. You need to find that out and ask him. But again, I hear so many times we as women, we think we are right in our way. And then we're like, roll your eyes. I mean, recently, you know, my husband said, let's go here. And I'm like, that is so the last thing I feel like doing. Like, are you out of your mind? And I was like, it was so coming out of my mouth, like, I really don't want to go there. I really don't want to do that, whatever, right? And I just said, okay, I'm just going to mavater. I'm just going to go. And even though I'm going to be so annoyed leaving the house and getting dressed and whatever, I'm just going to mavater. And it was such a delightful time. So great. I was like, exactly what I needed. Like, I came home, I'm like, oh, okay. This was just, I think this was not yesterday, the day before yesterday. It was like, it's like, wake up, Leah, so I totally get it. But when you, and I was positive I was right. I was positive I was going to come home and say, "Ugh, I'm so annoyed we went. It was such a waste of time and so stupid and whatever." And it was really, really a powerful and good thing. Um, yeah, get strength that it's a daily operation to try and mavater your will. And as Rebbetzin Kolodetsky said to me when I said I speak to a lot of women, what can I tell them? She said, if you mavater, you will never lose. And she said it in the name of Rav Chaim, her father, Rav Chaim Kamenetsky, and he said it in the name of the Chavetz Chaim. So yeah, try it. Try this at home. Okay, good. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, we have time for one more
Okay,
question.
good. Okay,
Okay,
good.
so yeah, Ellie's asking, my husband likes to wear certain things which people in our community don't wear. I try to follow what you say that it's none of my business, but then he complains to me about not fitting in. Is it really none of my business if it's affecting our family?
It's a good question. The question, so first of all, thank you for listening to my show because you know your answer was correct. Like it's not, leave that's his business. It is affecting I mean, if it does affect your family or whatever, first of all, if you have shalom bias, a lot of stuff, Hashem, if you have shalom bias and you're working on shalom bias and you're mavatering, the principal walks out of this thing and your teenage daughter's wearing a short skirt, whatever. If you have shalom bias, she goes, oh, hi, and she doesn't even notice the skirt. Like Hashem can hide anything from anyone. That was the stupidest example on planet Earth. But I'm just saying, Hashem will protect you. So you're doing the right thing. Good on you. Good job. And when he complains about not fitting in or whatever, that's a conversation. That's a conversation starter. First of all, it's very vulnerable of him to be able to share that with you. So Yasher Koch, you're doing something right. He's sharing with you how his emotions and how he feels about, fitting in the community. So that's great. It's a sign that you're doing something right, or many things right. But at some point, not in the heat of the moment, or not like I told you so, now we don't fit in, it's because of your clothes, whatever. At another time, you can say, you were upset because you felt like we didn't fit in. What, who cares? Why do you care? You do care. Okay. Why? Because you want the kids to fit in. You want to have a nice life. You don't want to be seen as different. Okay. I hear that. Listen, you do whatever you want or whatever, but what things do you think we could do, myself included? How would you direct me to fit in more? What would you want me to do? Let him come to it. Don't say a word. Zip your lip. Do not, where's the duct tape? Come on, come on, come on. Duct tape your mouth and, say, I don't, uh, don't say a word about how he dresses in that conversation. You can open the conversation, you can talk to him about brainstorming ideas and come up with things, but don't talk to him about just stay out of it. Um, Even though you in your heart of hearts feel like that is a part of it. Um, if he makes that leap and says, well, maybe I should dress differently, maybe that'll make us fit in more, goes into hate. That's for him to decide, not you. Zip your lip about it. But you can have a conversation about the pain he's feeling about not feeling like he fit in, and maybe it'll lead to that. Also, many times when a person is carrying a burden like that and feeling like they don't fit in, when they just share it with their wives, they feel like, oh, I'm heard. It makes them feel like they fit in more. You know what I mean? Just because you're lessening their burden. We know this from Chazal that, when you share a burden, it's halved. So you're being there for him, and we see from the way your relationship is that you're Baruch Hashem, he's sharing with you. But I still, even though in your mind there's that connection between the two, I wouldn't make the connection to him at all. Okay, it's very good. Keep doing what you're doing, by the way. You're doing great. Okay, but just leave it over there. Okay, good. So this is I've got to give homework. The homework for today is one time this week, do something that might be uncomfortable for you, but that will make your husband happy. Anything, whether it's, cleaning his car, especially, the wrappers or whatever's there, it doesn't have to be that big. It could be something like, well, depending on how messy your husband's car is, but do one act of kindness for your husband without expecting thank you. It can be anonymous if you want, if you're at that director, or you can let him know, that's fine, or maybe you'll know if you cleaned his car. So just do one thing for your husband. Okay, this is Leah Richheimer for Ladies Talk Show. We'll see you next time.